Good morning. Oh, see, I don't know. This is not going to work, I don't think, because that light in the back. Maybe I'll just go back and close it. That's better. So yeah, I thought I'd do a Friday reads sitting in the dining room. It is May the 14th, 2021, 9:54 in the morning. My wife went to, where did she go? She went to Jenison. I mentioned that we donated our set of Encyclopedia Britannica that we bought, I think when I was in seminary. It was like a 1983 edition. And I don't think we ever used the encyclopedias. And for years and years I hung on to them because I was kind of sentimental about them. When I first bought them, I was in seminary and I thought, well, I'm going to go into the ministry and preach the gospel, and then I need an encyclopedia if I want to look things up to as I'm teaching and preaching through the Bible. But I never used them, and I never went into the ministry, never became a gospel preacher, never was called by the American evangelical establishment. I was just basically left to wander in the wilderness. So this morning, as I usually do, I've been sitting here writing in my diary. I'm on page 547 for the year 2021. Got my May 21 diary. This is the second folder of May 2021. Yeah, I had to get into here early. Usually I start on the 16th, and I wrote so much the first 12 days of May that I ran out of space. So I might be using 3 folders instead of 2 each month. As far as this is Friday Reads, as I said, I've been, due to going through my books the last couple of weeks and taking a lot of them to the Gateway Center, the Holland Rescue Mission, to be sold. And then I also been taking some to the Blue Stockings bookstore to be sold and getting in-store credit. My whole routine has been disrupted, and I don't know when I'll get back to my routine. Sometimes, lately I've been thinking maybe I'm starting a whole new way of life. Sometimes maybe we operate on the way we've been living for 30 years, and maybe it's time to start fresh, start radically new. That the things that you thought were important, the things that you thought were worth reading, the things that you thought were worth listening to as far as music is now, well, that's all in the past. Maybe you need just to put all that aside and just start with a clean slate. But I don't know. Can someone, I'm going to be 69 years old in 3 months, can I start over? Certain things are fixed, certain things are patterns of life, patterns of thought, music, taste. Now I'm sure that as a bookworm, as a book person, as you read more and more, maybe you change your reading habits or what you read. But I don't know. I suppose I'm always learning. I'm always finding out new writers. I'm always very curious about books. So this morning I was just writing in my diary. Like I said, I've not been able to read my Christian books lately. But in a certain way, this book is like Christian reading, Melancholy, by this Hungarian writer. I wish I spoke Hungarian. I wish I could. I keep telling myself to go online and hear someone pronounce this guy's name. I have no clue. It always amazes me when The other day I had a friend come over and he looked at my books and there was all these foreign names on the titles of books. And this guy is not, he just went to high school and he was able to pronounce all those names clearly. I wanted to ask him, how do you do that? My wife's the same way. She can look at a book, a writer, Hungarian writer, Spanish writer, German writer, French, and she'll just, oh yeah, that's the name, and she pronounces the name, and I'm just blown away by it because I cannot pronounce anything. I wish I could pronounce that name. I mean, it would be so wonderful. Like this, I start reading this. I showed this yesterday, this new book I got in the mail. And I wish I could read Spanish. I wish I could read Portuguese. I can't pronounce that guy's name. What is this guy's name? What does it sound like? Must be music to your ears if you could just pronounce that name. But I started reading this last night. The Illustrious House of Ramires. I can't pronounce that name. What is that name? I don't know. So I'm still reading this as far as Friday Reads, Accidental Life, and Editor's Notes on Writing and Writers by Terry McDonell. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that name correctly. I don't know. And I'm still reading A User's Guide to Melancholy by Mary Ann Lund. And this is a guide to this book, Richard Burton's Anatomy of Melancholy, which was published in the 17th century. Robert Burton lived from 1577. He died in 1650. This is a reprint. This came out. This is a New York Review Books. So in some ways, this is kind of like reading spiritual stuff. But like I said, I've been kind of out of it. I just don't feel myself anymore. I felt lost at sea. So yesterday I did work on my wildflower garden and I mowed the lawn. And tomorrow my wife has a book swap. She has invited the neighborhood. She's invited friends. She's emailed people. And she's going to have this book swap. People coming in the neighborhood, friends, and they're going to swap books. My job is basically our granddaughter, Josie Joy, is going to be selling cookies and coffee. And my job is to make the coffee. It's from 9 in the morning to noon tomorrow. It's supposed to be a really nice day tomorrow here in West Michigan. So my wife's all excited about the book swap. My wife is she just loves people. She's always doing things. She has a women's neighborhood Bible book club, and now that she's retired from work, she's really involved in the women's ministry at her church. She's a leader. She is the woman in charge of education for the women in her church, and arranging Bible studies and conferences and retreats and things like that. And what do? I sit inside my cell wondering who I am, what's gone wrong, has my ship been abandoned? I don't know. But I thought I'd do a Friday Reads, tell you what I'm reading this book, starting reading this, still reading this, still reading this, still reading A User's Guide to Melancholy, and reading The Anatomy of Melancholy by Richard Burton, writing in my diary, and just drifting on the death flow. So this is a Friday. I got books coming in the mail, CDs, I have the disease of consumption. So I'll close. I hope you have a good reading weekend. I hope you all don't have this COVID-19. Carol and I have been totally vaccinated. I'm going to wear my mask, wash my hands, practice social distancing until I fall into a grave. I don't think people really know about this COVID-19. So until next time, thank you for your comments. Thank you for subscribing, and until next time, bye.